On the day after Christmas in 1900, a relief boat reached a remote lighthouse on a windswept island 20 miles off the Hebrides. The lamp had been dark for over a week. When the relief keeper climbed to the station, he found the kitchen tidy, the beds unmade, 2 sets of waterproofs gone, and no sign of the 3 men who were supposed to be there. This is the story of the Flannan Isles lighthouse. The Flannan Isles are uninhabited rocks in the Atlantic, about 20 miles west of the Outer Hebrides. The lighthouse on the largest of them, Eileen Moor, had only been operating for a year. It stood on a cliff above the sea, reached by a steep stairway cut into the rock. 3 keepers worked the light, with a 4th on shore. In December 1900, the 3 on the island were James Ducat, the principal keeper, a long-serving man in his 40s, Thomas Marshall, the second assistant, with about 20 years' experience, and Donald MacArthur, an occasional keeper, standing in for the regular first assistant who was on sick leave. The first sign that something was wrong came on the night of the 15th of December. The steamer Archer, passing from Philadelphia to Leith in poor weather, noted in her log that the Flannan light was not burning. The vessel did not stop. The report did not reach the Northern Lighthouse Board until later. The relief boat, the Hesperus, was due in mid-December, but had already been delayed several days by storms. The Hesperus reached Eileen Moor at noon on the 26th of December. Captain Harvey sounded the steam whistle and fired a flare. There was no response from the lighthouse. He sent the relief keeper, Joseph Moore, ashore. Moore climbed the stairs alone. The compound gate was shut. The main door was shut. Inside the lighthouse, the kitchen was tidied, the lamps cleaned and refilled, ready to be lit. The clock had stopped. The beds were empty and unmade. 2 of the 3 sets of oilskins were missing. The 3rd hung in its place. Captain Harvey sent a telegram the same day. "A dreadful accident has happened at the Flannans," he wrote. "The 3 keepers, Ducat, Marshall, and the occasional, have disappeared from the island. Poor fellows, they must have been blown over the cliffs or drowned trying to secure a crane." Robert Muirhead, the Northern Lighthouse Board superintendent who had personally recruited all 3 men, arrived on the 29th of December. He found the lighthouse exactly as Moore had described it. The written log ended on the 13th of December. Routine weather and time readings for the 14th and for the morning of the 15th had been recorded on a slate, ready to be transferred. Then, nothing. At the West Landing, the picture changed. The iron railings along the path were torn from their foundations and broken in several places. A box that had been wedged into a crevice in the rock, more than 100 feet above the water, was missing. Mooring ropes were strewn across the rocks. The damage, Muirhead wrote, was difficult to believe unless actually seen. His report, dated the 8th of January 1901, concluded that on the afternoon of Saturday the 15th, all 3 keepers had gone down to the West Landing to secure the box and its ropes, and that an unusually large wave had run up the cliff above them and, falling back, had swept them into the sea. It is the conclusion that has held for over a century. The west coast of the island is exposed to the full force of the Atlantic. Waves have been recorded breaking high above the landing, and modern oceanographers accept that rogue waves can exceed normal storm swells by a wide margin. What does not quite fit is why 3 experienced keepers, against standing orders, all left the station together, and why one of them, in winter weather, went without his coat. The more colorful details added later, an overturned chair, an uneaten meal, log entries about strange storms and crying men, come from a 1912 poem and later retellings, not from the official record. What the official record shows is a tidy kitchen, a clean lamp ready for the night, and a missing box on a high crevice above a winter sea. 3 men, no bodies, and an ocean that took its evidence with it.